Hey everyone, Miff here and welcome back to my completionist playthrough of the Baldur's Gate Saga with the SCS mod. And in this episode, I think this is going to be a cool one because we're going to have some pretty cool fights ahead of us. So first off, we have this treehouse, continuing from where we left off, dealing with the Shadow Druids. This one's closed. There's going to be some pretty good potions here. Anyway, upstairs, there's going to be a very tough fight. A very, very tough fight on our hands here, because there's going to be one of the Shadow Archdruids there, Ameron, or Amerande. And basically the difficulty of this fight stems from two elements of it. First of all is just this layout, because upstairs the room is going to be exactly like this one, a very small circular room where we're going to be affected by like any AoE spells. And of course the second element is that he has a level 11 Avenger Druid, and Avenger is a kit of a Druid that receives a couple of arcane spells. And this is very, very significant because at level 4 the Avenger receives improved invisibility, and he's going to be surely pre-buffed with that, which means that he's not going to be targetable by single target spells. On level 5 the Avenger gets Chaos, a very powerful enchantment spell that has a -4 penalty to the saving throw of the targets. It's an AoE spell that makes you confused. If this lands, it will be a complete catastrophe, pretty much. And on 6th level, the Avenger gets Chain Lightning, and he also probably has that memorized. So anyway, my tactic here is going to be a little specific. I'm going to have Branwen. Well, first of all, we're going to go upstairs with everyone except Imoen, because Branwen is going to cast Silence, and this is an AoE spell that is not party friendly, so obviously all of our party members that go upstairs are going to be affected by that as well. And then if Ameron or Amerande gets silenced, then we're in the clear, everything's going to be fine, pretty much. But if he doesn't, and we're silenced, I'm going to then head upstairs with Imoen and use this Skull Trap to hopefully interrupt his spell. Because it's an AoE magic damage spell. I think he has 50% fire resistance, so our fire damage resources are not going to be that great. I'm going to do some light pre-buffs here. They're not going to matter that much. But yeah. And hopefully, you know, that Skull Trap, since it's an AoE damage spell, hopefully it can deal some damage to him, interrupt his spell, and by that time, hopefully our physical damage is going to cut through his iron skins to be able to, you know, get to him and deal physical damage to him and just, you know, interrupt his spells further and just kill him, just deal with him before he can do anything too dangerous. Also, Coran is of course going to receive our favorite acid arrows. And now, well, let's go upstairs and see what we can do here. You know, so we need to like immediately spread out because this is an incredible like traffic jam scenario here. Alright, and I'm going to already start casting Silence with Branwen, and Senashira needs to get right the hell in there. Yeah, so he's one of the Shadow Archdruids. He's not the only one. So as usual, there's a little bit of a back and forth between Jaheira and the Shadow Druids. And of course the quest here about Meretha. So there's another Shadow Druid, I think that's even higher in the hierarchy here, Andarth, or Andarthe. And, well, we're going to meet him also. Anyway, now let's just try and attack Ameron with everything that we've got. And I think I might actually use one of these potions of Fire Breath. And I'm going to use it on this guy and direct the Flame Beam over to Amerande to perhaps interrupt him. Alright, his pre-buffs finally kicked in. I shouldn't have attacked him so early, I think. Anyway, let's use this on that druid. And even though... Oh, come on, move. There's going to be these animals here, and I can't move over to direct that flame beam over to... Alright, I can. I can damage him. Even though he made a save, and he has like 50% fire, or maybe even more, resistance. You know, we can still deal some fire damage to him, and his spell failed, which is awesome. That's exactly what we needed. Now let's just see if that silence can land on him. Let's see. Ameron saved versus spell. Alright, so this silence is not going to affect him. However, he is badly injured, and we will still damage him once with that fire beam, and we'll still probably Coran is going to still going to deal acid damage to him, even if he has iron skins. Now actually, our casters like Jaheira and Branwen did not get silenced, so, and it doesn't even matter because I want to use a wand here. I will use a wand of fear to hopefully fear all these like animal helpers. As you can see, they have like black bears, dire wolves, and all that stuff. Yep. And I think we need to go up with Ameron before he can do anything else. Oh my god. Alright, this fear did not work on the animals. I mean, they have removed fear, the druids, but I think the animals should be normally affected by that. Alright, Ameron, quickly cast that skull trap, and I know I'm going to receive damage with all my guys, but I need Ameron to be dead. If he lands a chaos on us here, it's over. Obviously, you know, bad help call. I think he should just say help or some, you know, he should have a battle cry of his. All right. Oh. All right, we're in the clear. We're good. Now, where are you, Jaheira? Oh, you are over there. Let's just deal with that druid, although he's silenced, so let's deal with the bear, I guess. Now we need to focus our attacks on like one of these guys at a time. He is near death, so let's kill that bear. Let's then kill this one. Alright, I'm glad everything went fine. This fight can be so nasty because of this terrain layout. You know, we mentioned that we are going to meet Andarthe, like an even tougher Shadow Archdruid, but the fight with him isn't nearly as difficult because the terrain layout is completely different. Well, you'll see how that fight is going to look. Alright, got some bullets +1. Now, Amarande here has a club +2. And, yeah, I can't identify it yet, but as you can see from the stats, comparing the two clubs, it's just a regular club +2. So, a nice little upgrade for Jaheira. Alright, so now we are done with this area completely. Obviously we are quite bruised, but we can do some healing here. Can you use your special abilities on the silence? Yep. Alright. We are going to be resting a couple of times in Cloakwood because I think we're going to go a little bit like back and forth between areas because of this Jaheira's NPC Project quest. Normally I would just go straight to the mines and then just do some stuff on the way back. But I think just so we have like a little bit of a closure, I guess, and well, let's just teleport here. Just so we have like closure and we're a little bit like more, I guess, consistent when it comes to doing like one quest at a time, I guess. I will just probably just finish that Jaheira's NPC Project quest with Baldur and Maretha and whatnot before we actually enter the mines. The mines being, you know, the complex of the Iron Throne that we've heard about. Right, another ambush with some giant spiders. This can be pretty nasty depending on who they web, because they have that single target web. Fortunately, it didn't work on anyone. But, you know, if it works on like 3 out of your 6 characters in your party, that can be pretty devastating, especially if, you know, they web your like main damage dealers and you just have all of your like squishy party members left. Anyway, now we are in this area, and Jaheira mentions a lizard that just flew over our heads. That's a reference to the classic Baldur's Gate, because in classic Baldur's Gate 1 you would have a movie here. You would have a little video showcasing a wyvern with a cow in its claws, flying over like a scared woodsman, I guess, a lumberjack or something. But of course, as some other movies, this one as well was like enhanced out of this version. So anyway, she of course tells us about the wyverns, because this is the wyvern map, pretty much. It has a wyvern cave, or as I like to say, wyvern cavern. Cavern of the wyvern. Anyway, Coran is going to chime in, and as you can see, he is kind of thirsty. Let's just put it that way. A big womanizer, or at least he's attempting to be like that. Anyway, first off, the first encounter that we're going to have here is going to be a hammerhead, which is a pretty much like the highest kind of, at least in Baldur's Gate 1. I'm not sure if it's, you know, in the entirety of Forgotten Realms lore. I'm not sure if it's the highest level druid or a dryad imaginable, but at least in Baldur's Gate 1, that's the... And even in Baldur's Gate 2, if you use some mods to alter a spell called Call Woodland Beings, the Hamadryad is the highest level dryad. Like, the best kind of type, most dangerous type of dryad that you can summon. Anyway, we are going to solo her with Senashira, because she has a lot of nasty spells at her disposal, but she is not going to be able to like do anything to Senashira in combat, pretty much. And she has dire charms, and she has hold persons and stuff like that, all of which we're going to be immune to if we use that greenstone amulet charge. And now we're just going to go and solo her. She also can teleport. She has this dimension door. And basically, I don't want to have anyone else kind of... because we could have Kirina and Coran, for example, aiding her from a distance. But if she, like, teleports over to them... See, she can teleport quite a distance. She can then immediately cast Dire Charm on someone like Coran, for example, and that would be a little dangerous. And we can definitely just solo her with Senashira. As you can see, she is immune to electricity damage, but it doesn't matter. We're cutting through her iron skins, and now it's down. So now we're going to be able to deal physical damage to her and finish her off. She has no chance with our simple greenstone amulet charge. Alright, so that's the first thing we needed to do here. Now in the corner of this map, here, there's going to be a group of druids. And this is going to be something related to Jaheira's quest with the Shadow Druids here. Okay, and there they are. Probably going to rest once we go back. So let's just use up our buffs here, because there's going to be like 5 druids there. One of which is pretty high level, one of which has Insect Plague at his disposal, I think. I think that's enough of pre-buffs. I'm not going to use any explosives, Armageddon Tactics, because as you can see, there's Baldur here. And he can die if we do AoE damage.
Yes, it is done. I am
Don't
here.
mess with nature, or it'll mess with you.
So he says to, you know, go to the treehouse and find Maretha. So Jaheira obviously has some history concerning Baldur. Even when dying, he is so foolishly noble. Being noble is not foolish, bro. And of course, you know, sacred rituals of the Shadow Druids. They were probably about to ritually murder him or something. So of course we need to deal with them, as we always do, with violence. I am going to just go forth with Senashira, and everyone else is going to be using ranged damage, I think. And I think, like, is this one... They are all called the Druid of Cloakwood, but I think one of them is higher level. And I think it might be this one, the center one.
What you want?
And I think I might just use some single target spell on him here. Because of course, you know, they have a lot of pre-buffs, they have remove fear, so our Wand of Fear is not going to work. Maybe I should spread the damage a little bit, like with Coran trying to interrupt someone else.
Indeed.
Actually,
Yep.
in the end, instead of casting magic missiles, like I kind of wanted first. Yeah, they have Charm Person or Mammal, but it's really easy to save against that spell. Well, let's just do a little bit of Aghansar's Scorcher.
I am here. By your command. Your concern?
And just attack them.
This would be a good
You
place
are
for
all
a-
attacking this guy.
Yes?
I've done had enough of this.
I am
My
here.
blade. I'm gone.
Your concern?
Yeah, Doom doesn't really matter. Their basic spells aren't going to do much. I think it's just this guy who is a little bit more dangerous. Alright, he's down. Let's just save Seneshira from this bear. I should have pre-buffed her with shield, especially since I think we're going to go through the whole map here and also battle the Wyverns. So it's late, but better late than never, I guess. I'm going to buff her up with that shield. And that bear, man. the bears in this game. In SCS, I think SCS buffs up a lot of the different opponent types, and I think bears are no exception.
Yes?
Alright, so the aftermath. There's going to be a little cutscene. So Jaheira heals Baldur, and now a conversation is going to occur.
Don't mess with nature, or it'll mess with you.
So Baldur seems like a normal guy, but Jaheira is like a bit hysterical. Maybe that's too harsh of a word, but you know how Jaheira is. Anyway, since we don't have Khalid, this conversation is a little different. It's kind of like as if Khalid died. But, you know, he's just on vacation. Khalid has some other obligations to take care of. So, you know, this conversation shouldn't be taken too seriously. Or that part of the conversation. So yeah, he tells us about the Shadow Clave taking place at the treehouse that we were just at, pretty much. So we should hurry there. Well, first we're going to loot these guys, because some of them have some pretty good potions. We have some throwing daggers. Oh, and that actually reminds me. A very important thing. I finally looked into that boomerang dagger that Kieran has, and I fixed it, because basically the thing about that dagger was that it didn't have its strength bonuses applied correctly, like it was supposed to. So now that I've fixed it, and it's a proper like boomerang dagger +2. So as you can see, with normal throwing daggers, she has 5 Thaco and 12 to 15 damage. Now if we equip with this one, now she has 3 Thaco, properly getting that +2 bonus, and 15 to 21 damage. And that's my concern here. It's such a powerful item that doesn't normally exist in Baldur's Gate 1 that I don't think I'm going to use it just yet. I think I'm going to allow myself to use it maybe after we're done with Cloakwood or something like that, like a little bit later into the game, to have this boomerang dagger be a little bit of a reward, I think, because this is just, look at that, 15 to 21. She's already using just these normal throwing daggers. She is already our best damage dealer, our best killer, basically. So maybe when I just spend all of these daggers, these normal daggers, like when I ran out of them, I'm going to switch to that boomerang dagger. Something like that. I'm going to think of something, but I think it's just such a powerful item in the hands of a Kansai that I don't think I'm going to use it just yet. And a nice potion of defense. Oh yeah, let's just loot some of these. Oh yeah, and this guy was the main druid, I think, not the one I was attacking. I think this one was the main guy. Another potion of invulnerability, very nice.
I am here.
Anyway, now on this map there's one more thing to do. This normally is kind of an empty map, so that's why I guess they made this encounter here to make the map a little bit more interesting. And as you can see, we are already meeting some Iron Throne guards.
You've as good as done. Your concern? Yes, it is done.
So although this is not the mine yet, those are kind of their territories already.
I am
So we're going to have to deal with them. These guards are buffed by SCS. They are much tougher than they normally are. Those are like proper kind of soldiers. Although this didn't help. So hyping them up, this guy getting chunked. But yeah, they're much tougher than they normally are in the base game, where they just like die in 2 hits and don't do anything. Here they actually have a decent Thaco, I think. They can do damage. You know, even on Jaheira they damaged her quite a bit. And she's our best kind of tank character with the best armor class and whatnot. Anyway, so on this map there's one more thing to do. There's that Wyvern cave. And we're going to go straight there, and we're going to also unlock the mine map. But I think I'm going to do what I said a little bit earlier, where we're going to just follow through with that. Oh, that's why she was wielding a sling in melee. That's why they were having such an easy time hitting Jaheira, because I didn't switch her weapon to that club. So they had a +4 Thaco bonus against her, because she had a ranged weapon in melee. Anyway, I am going to, like I said, I am going to follow through with this whole Jaheira questline here with the Shadow Druids, but first let's kill some Wyverns. Alright, so quite a big group of them, but we can use our Wand of Fear and hopefully get some effects, get some results out of that. And all of them saved versus spell, it seems. So Jaheira, try that again.
Yes.
Because they are susceptible to fear. We were able to spook that one Wyvern in the ambush earlier, but I guess this is not meant to be here, and Senashira needs to watch out. Come on, let's take care of this other big Wyvern. Should really heal up, shouldn't I? But yeah, I don't like resting too much,
I am certainly.
and I always kind of just push it to the limits of how far I can go without like resting, without healing and stuff like that. Anyway, so now Coran says that we should bring one of these Wyvern heads to... Alright, is she not a beauty, talking to that decapitated head? Well, or just looking at the... Oh yeah, to the head. He's like, alas, poor Yorick. But you're not as poetic as you think, Coran. Coran seems to be just attracted to pretty much anything. I don't want to do like any romantic response here, so I'm just like reading through them. I don't want to be like too rude to him. I guess this one is okay. I don't have the romances components installed even, but I guess these ones are actually conversations just leading up to the romance part. I don't even have yeah, I'm repeating myself, but yeah, I don't have the romance parts installed. But I guess this is just a something that leads up to it. Anyway, here we can loot some goodies. Get another Wand of Fear, some plate armor, which at this point is really not a big deal for us. I'm going to take it though. We can sell it for like 200 gold, I guess. And of course Coran also leveled up quite some time ago. So he leveled up in Thief. Now he's going to have 95 in traps, and we're pretty much set. There are only a few traps in the game that require 100 in 5 traps. Find the traps, and they are basically like near the end of the game, and primarily in Durlag's Tower, which we are going to do much later. Durlag's Tower is an awesome dungeon. We are going to have fun in that one, but that's going to come much later. Well, this bear wants to die, so... Alright, dude. Here you go. Is that what you wanted? Was that such a good idea to attack us? Alright, so now we uncovered this mine area. That's the last area of Cloakwood. But yeah, just to have all of this finished, let's go back to that treehouse. Right, another ambush.
I've done had enough of this.
By the spiders, and Branwen got webbed. But no one else. And they also, these giant spiders, once they web someone, they also have... they also will really want to attack them and poison them while they are webbed. That's an intended behavior there on their part. First web someone and then, you know, try to hit them and poison them, because if they're webbed they are going to, you know, end up auto-hitting them. And, you know, these swings, kind of, these attacks that this spider was doing, those were just cosmetic attacks. Like I talked about them at some, like, earlier point in our playthrough. There are some cosmetic attacks where sometimes our characters are going to, like, you know, swing their weapons and whatnot, but they are not real attacks. I'm going to have those disabled in Baldur's Gate 2, where that is possible, but in Baldur's Gate 1 that doesn't work, at least on this version. You can't disable them. If you edit your INI file, the command just does nothing. Anyway, here I'm going to rest, I think. And let's just check out our spells here. You have Invisibility Purge. That's nice. This might come in handy, because now we're going to face off against Andarthe, like the highest Shadow Archdruid here. And he is actually level 13 Avenger, and he's also going to be pre-buffed with improved invisibility. I think he has Summon Fire Elemental. He has, you know, level 6 spells. So this, you know, can be a bit of a tough encounter, but since the battlefield is so different, he's going to be here. There's so much open space to limit the effects of something like chaos, or you can just orchestrate kind of how the battle goes much better. And I'm going to have a specific, well, a little tactic there. Let's just rest once more so we can heal up. Without me having to, like, you know, do the heals and waste time. Alright, it worked. Now let's just have Jaheira heal up a little bit more. Now we are going to pre-buff Senashira. She's going to also buff herself up with shield. And we're going to make her almost immune to fire damage, because that might be... this might be useful. I'm not sure if I'm going to go with, like, throwing some fireballs her way. But basically the battle, we're going to send Senashira in, so that she can kind of take all of their attention, pretty much. And we're going to have all of our other characters stay at a distance. And we can also, like, bless up. Yeah, but all of our other characters are going to stay at a distance and basically be relatively safe from their spells. And if Senashira needs to, she will just buff herself up with that greenstone amulet and make herself immune to all the nasty effects that they can place on her. And you'll see how, like, how much different this battle is going to be.
Don't mess with nature, or it'll mess with you.
So yeah, here's the main Shadow Archdruid, I guess, Andarthe. talking about how Maretha is going to scream once they deal with her. Alright, so Andarthe gets teleported kind of a little bit further away. He starts out there. We are going to approach him. And we're just going to do some ranged attacks on this guy, on his helper. Alright, their pre-buffs trigger. As you can see, he is improved invisible. And I might use Jaheira's invisibility purge for that purpose. Although I'm not sure if she's not too far away, so maybe let's approach a little bit closer there. And you know what, just to be safe, I am going to use this on Senashira right now. You can just use some magic missiles now. Alright, Senashira is now buffed up. And now she can approach Andarthe. Oh yeah, you need to use that invisibility purge. Now, I could use command on like one of these bears or something, but... Oh, as you can see, this is why these weapons with elemental damage on them are so good. He has iron skins, so obviously this critical hit that Senashira had on him, the physical damage component just, you know, was absorbed by the iron skins, but not the electricity damage, and that one damage of electricity managed to interrupt his spell. That's really good also against, of course, mages with stone skin. Alright, now we have dispelled his improved invisibility. Now he is vulnerable to our single target spells. And we can... let's use that one. You should be throwing her... Look at this damage. He didn't save versus wand, so look at this Wand of the Heaven damage, dude. 31, just like that.
Don't mess with nature, or it'll mess with you.
So he wants to surrender. If you kill him fast enough, he doesn't even have the option. I'm just debating... I want to kill him, but I'm just... I don't think we're going to suffer a reputation penalty if we do. Although Jaheira doesn't want to. Let's finish him off. No mercy for the filthy Shadow Druids. I want your 4,000 experience. Let's just finish off these bears. Alright, actually, Jaheira might go in. And maybe take some of their attention. Coran can switch back to normal arrows now. Alright, sweet. The threat of the Shadow Druids has been dealt with now. And also, I completely forgot. Good thing that I killed him, because he has this spear, which is pretty insane. But... Are you not encumbered? Okay. It's pretty insane for Baldur's Gate 1 standards. Oh, also, let's switch Coran's colors. Oh, I can keep that. But it's very useful, and I might use it a little bit later. I'm going to allow myself maybe to use it a little bit later for a certain spell that it can cast. Anyway, let's just finish up the whole story here. There's going to be Maretha inside.
Nature knows much of you.
So she thanks us. She's going to ask about Baldur. We're going to comfort her, saying that he is well. And now we get another 2,000 experience and 1 reputation. And now Jaheira urges us to go back and inform Seniad. So go to the first Cloakwood map to inform him. And normally I would just proceed to the mines, like I said, and do all this on the way back. But let's just finish up this whole storyline here. And that's going to make for a nice episode. Although this is going to be some traveling time here.
Certainly.
But we were not ambushed along the way. And yeah, now we can inform Seniad of what happened and receive a really good club for Jaheira.
Never underestimate the power of nature's wrath.
Yeah, so he already has news of what happened. You have proven to be a good ally. And yeah, everything is well. A very happy ending to this whole conflict that just started with, you know, Aldeth and Seniad. And look at how great this part was from the NPC project. They took this kind of unsatisfactory conflict between Aldeth and Seniad here, and or maybe not unsatisfactory, but you know, there was definitely a place to have a cool idea and implement it, and they did that. If you have Jaheira, you have this whole quest line with the Shadow Druids. Just what a cool opportunity that they took. Anyway, farewell Senashira, farewell Jaheira. Get another 5,000 experience, and he actually mentioned the club in there somewhere. So we got this club, and it's a club +2. But it also gives her 25% electrical resistance and also Cold Lightning once per day. And this Cold Lightning is actually quite insane because it works like a wand, so she doesn't even need to cast it. What I mean here is that normally Cold Lightning has a casting time of 9, so that means that she needs to pretty much spend the whole round, the whole 6 seconds casting that spell. And it's worth it in a lot of situations, of course, because it's a powerful spell. But this one, the Cold Lightning from the wand, actually works like, from the club, actually works like a wand. It just has a little delay, and then it just happens. It's like near instant. It's a near instant cast. So it's quite powerful. And also, because of that 25% electrical resistance and her boots and her helmet, she is also almost fully resistant to electricity damage, which doesn't really come into play that often, especially since we're not really using lightning bolts or anything like that. We're more likely to have, like, you know, Senashira buffed up so that she's immune or almost immune to fire, and then like throw in some fire bolts rather than memorizing some lightning bolts and having Jaheira in there. But you know, this can come in handy in like tanking some lightning bolt traps and stuff like that. Anyway, I'm going to prepare for travel, and that we're going to do in the next episode. So I think this was a pretty cool one. I hope you enjoyed. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.